branching page. In this tutorial, we're going to create a branching scenario like we're seeing right here. And so this is the branching page from the Trip Epic course, which is a template project in all of your in every account. So it's actually this page right here. And what we have now is simply this is an animated slide. We start with an animated slide with a world map, and it asks you click on a destination for a sneak peek. And so if I click on the Statue of Liberty, I move to a different page, which displays information about New York. Now, this is a page on its own. If I click skip, it asks me, would you like to choose another travel venture? And here I have a choice. If I choose no, I'll move out of the branching scenario and continue the course. However, if I click yes here, I will come back to the initial page where I could choose another location if I want, like Thailand, for example. And now instead, it'll display the page linked with Thailand in this case. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, back in the platform, we have an empty project. And so all that I have is a resource page, which is actually just a blank page with some hyperlinks, which I'm going to use in the course. And I've already preloaded with the batch upload all the image necessary for this little project in my library. So let's get started. First, what you want to do is create a branching page. And so make sure you're in the page tab and click on the branching button. This will create your branching page in the table of content. Rename it travel branching scenario. Enter. Now what you have here, you have to think of the branching page in the table of content like a directory. This page will actually contain a bunch of hidden pages which you will navigate through depending on your choices. And so what you're gonna start by doing with is with the plus button here, instead of adding interaction, this will actually add a page. So if you click on it, you have two types of page available to you. There's a third function which is not available yet, but which will soon be, which is the page reuse. So you'll be able to copy and paste other existing pages in your branching scenario. It's just not available yet, but it will appear here eventually. Now you have choices of two pages, video page and animated slides. The other type of pages are not available for now in a branching scenario. In our case, since the world map was an animated slide, we'll start by creating one. So clicking on the animated slide, you see right away that now the screen has changed and you now have the branching view with my first element that I've created, which is my animated slide. If you click on it one time, you see a pop-up window appearing with some settings that you can change. Right off the bat, you see the title, so we will change the title to World Map. And we'll come back to the other settings later. Just clicking somewhere else, and it will collapse the pop-up window. Now we're right away going to move to add the other pages. So what we're going to do actually is, since we know what we're going with, we're going to create our branching first and then add the content later. So next one would be a video page, because we're now moving to the locations, and as we saw, those were videos. So I'm going to add a video page. My first location will be, again, I'm going to change the title. My first location will be New York. So just enter New York. I'm going to add another video page. This is my branching number 2. So this one will be Thailand. Sorry, I misclicked by mistake. This one will be Thailand. And lastly, we're going to create a third location, and this one will be Panama. Okay, So we have our three location in our branching scenario. Now you can see that by clicking on those, you can remove them any way you want. You notice also that at the bottom right, there is a zoom as well. If you're doing like a complex branching scenario with a lot of elements, you can zoom out or zoom in. So this is very good. And the next step that we're going to do is that we're actually going to create our branching now. So when you hover over one of these elements, you see that an arrow is appearing. And so what you want to be doing is you're clicking on it and you're dragging wherever you want on other elements. So you're actually, it's pretty intuitive. You're actually branching your pages any way you want. And so we see here that we start with the world map and we'll have a choice to go either to New York, Thailand, or Panama. And so this is it for the first step. Now what we're going to do actually is we are going to start adding the content. Okay, so if I click on world map, first thing first, you see a couple of parameters additional, but I'll come back to them later. But just clicking once will open the pop-up menu. You can also click on the edit button and you can delete it. There's also a delete icon. Now, if you double click on it, this will open an empty page, and that means that you're actually opening the actual page. So this is really more like the directory. This is your overview, and double clicking on one will open that page and the other one will open that page. It'll become more clearer as we progress later on. So this is our first page. This is our world map. So we're going to start by adding content. So first thing first, we're going to add, by clicking on the style, we're going to add a background image. So click on upload. And we're going to go grab our world map. In my case, it was already preloaded in my library. So I'm just going to select it and then click save. So we have our world map displaying now as a background in our animated slide. Now the slide had a certain time. I believe it was something like 5 seconds. So we're just going to put 5 seconds. And then we're going to choose, we're going to make them appear. So let's say I'm going to click at the beginning, and we're going to start adding the locations. Now the locations will actually be buttons, which will branch to the other pages. So in order to do that, again, click on the interaction button, and I'm going to insert an image. You then select your image. So I'm going to click upload, and then I'm going to go grab the image in question. So location A was New York, so I'm going to grab my Statue of Liberty image, maybe resize it, put it a little smaller, and put it somewhere around here. So this is for our first location. We're going to have add our second image, which this one will be Panama. Again, we're going to put it a bit smaller. I'm going to put it around here. That's good. If I double click on it again, I'm going to go in the action, and I'm actually going to, this one, I'm going to make it appear a little later on. So maybe a second after. And I'll leave it continue playing for the duration of the video. I'm going back in my New York actually, because I have also to leave it continue playing for the remainder of the video. So continue playing, and then I add it to the remainder of the time. And if I click a little bit further in the timeline, let's say here, so in total it's going to be 2 seconds. Again, I'm going to click for the interaction, and I'm going to insert another image. I'm going to upload the image, and this one is Thailand, so I'm going to grab the boat here, resize it, and put it somewhere around here. Again, I'm going to edit it, and here I'm going to leave it playing for the remainder of the time, which is here 1.5 seconds. Okay, now that we have our 3 location icons set up, we're actually going to create the actual buttons to navigate. And also, there is also a text box that was needed. So if we go back in our project, in our final course, Here in the final course, you see that those are appearing, and then after there is this text here that says click on a destination for a sneak peek. So I'm going to Control C. I'm going to copy this. I'm going to go back in the builder. So now in the builder, I'm going to add a text box interaction. Just paste in the text here. And like PowerPoint here, we're going to resize it, go place it. I'm going to choose the appearance. It's not exactly the same appearance, but it'll do. And editing it again, I am going to make it appear just a little later as well. And again, leave it playing for the remainder of the video. Okay, so let's see what it looks like so far. So we will start the video. And then after a second, our first location, second location, third location pops up, and then the text. This is looking good. All right. Now, we're gonna start to create the actual buttons, but before that, actually, if you click on the branching button, what this is going to do is that it's going to bring you back to the overview. So before doing the actual branching, I mean, we have our world map set up. What we're going to do is actually add the content in each of any location to make it clearer. So now double click on New York, and this is going to open an empty page, an empty video page. I'm going to click on upload. But before that, actually in my resources page, that's why I created my resource page before. I'm actually, what we're going to do now is that we're going to use a YouTube link to make it a little bit faster. So I'm going to grab the link for New York. I'll double click on the New York page. And if I click on upload, instead of choosing a video from my library, you can enter a YouTube link by clicking here and then pasting your link. Now I could have used a video from my computer, from my desktop if I wanted to. There's no problem with that, but this makes it a little bit quicker, and it also shows you a different way to do things. So we have our YouTube video right here. Okay, this is looking good. And the only thing that we did before was actually putting a button, let's say at 3 seconds. So we're actually, we're going to create a button here with an appearance like so that says, let's input some text. Click here to go back. Click here to choose another venture. This is looking good. Perhaps a little big. Well, actually, I'll leave it like that. Okay, so this would be our big button that you need to click in order to go back. Okay, so now if you double click on it, we're actually gonna input the behavior. Anytime you're doing this, if you don't remember how to do this, go back in the button, the button interaction video, or anything that has to do with event types. It will explain to you in more detail how this works. And so for now, what we're going to do is that we're going to leave it playing for the remainder of the video. And in event type, now this is the interesting part, and this is very important. Before, in event type, with any other type of interaction, you have those that you're already familiar with, open a web page, blah, blah, blah. But now we have a new possibility, which is go to a branched page. And this was not available before. And it is now available to us because we did the branching earlier. So let's see an example of that. If I click on branch page, now a new parameter appears, available branch page. And if I click on that one, it says no results found. How come? Well, because we need to actually branch it to somewhere else. Now, if you have an edit branch button, if I click on that one, it says the field branch page is mandatory, so you have to add one. So how do you make this appear? If it doesn't work, if there's nothing there, it's because you haven't made the links yet. So I'll show you this in a second. So I'm just going to save it for now without anything. And if I go back in my branching, you see that my branching is going to New York. However, it's not linking back to the world map. That's why it was not appearing. Now, if I drag my handle and I link it all the way back to the world map, you see that you can move to New York and then you can come back to the world map. So now if I click on New York again, I have my video with my interaction right here. And if I go edit that interaction, so I'm going in the action again, event type. Now, if I go to a branched page, before there was nothing, you remember there was nothing, and now, oh, we see the world map available because I added a branch that goes back to the world map. So now I can choose that, click on save, and it will bring me back. For example, if I click on here, click to go to a branched page, it's bringing me back to the beginning. So this is how you set up your buttons to navigate. Now we're going to do this for the rest of the videos as well. So I'm going to do this for Panama and for Thailand. This might take a little while, and this is repetition, so I'll do this myself right away, and I'll come back when it's going to be done, and it's exactly the same step as we did for New York. So we'll be back in a moment. Okay, so we are back, and as we can see, if I click on Thailand now, I inputted the YouTube link, so we have the video playing. There's also the button here, which will bring you back again, and same thing in Panama as well. All right. So now, what are those next step? Again, you know that Thailand did not had any branching back, so you know that you won't be able to come back here. So we're going to add the branches back to the world map. So I'm doing this for Thailand, and I'm also doing this for Panama. And now if I go on my Thailand page, I go on my button. And now, very important, this is now also the same thing, but it's not a button, it's a text box. But this is to show you that you can do the same thing with a text box, an image, or a button, however you see fit. If I click on action, now in event type, I can go to a branched page, and now you see that world map again is available. So I'm linking it to the world map. I'll do the same thing with Panama. Link it. I'll try to grab my interaction. This is a button now. Oh, this one was pausing. I'll leave it playing. Go to a branched page, and again, the world map. Now, this is all good and well to come back, but to go, if we go back in the world map, you remember that those were not set up yet. If you click on them, they don't go anywhere. So we're going to set them up. So if you double click on it, you see that the branch had already been made. So if I go in action, event type, go to a branch page. Now, oh, what do you see? You see those three choices: New York, Thailand, and Panama. So this is really cool. Since all of your branching had been set up prior, because you already have an idea of the kind of scenario that you want to be doing. Afterwards, it's just linking the buttons to the proper pages. So in this case here, New York, the Statue of Liberty goes with New York. The jungle will go with Panama. So event type, go to a branch page, Panama. And the boat and the sea will go to a branch page, Thailand. Okay, so we did all of our setup. We're almost done. And so one last thing, if you want also, we could go even one step further, because now we're going here. Actually, we'll preview first thing first. We already did our scenario here, so we'll preview what it looks like. So I'm just going to erase my resource page because I don't need this one anymore. And if I go into preview, let's go see what it looks like. You can see that I'm playing my page here. This is the final result. I got my 3 destinations appearing with my text box. And if I click on New York, you see that I'm moving to New York. There you go. My button will appear. Click here to choose another venture. Now, if I click here, voila, I'm going back to the beginning. And now I could decide, for example, to click on Thailand, and I would move to the page about Thailand. So this is pretty much it. You can see here our small branching scenario has actually been done. And really quickly, if you want, you can do multiple levels of this. It's not just like go to to place B and then come back. I will finish just by showing this you real quick. You can create an animated slide. For example, I'm going to create a new one. And next to Thailand, I'm going to call this one waterfall. And you can link then only Thailand to the waterfall. And so this will not be available from New York or Panama, but only Thailand. And if I click on the waterfall, if I double click on it, this is an animated page. So I'm just going to insert, and actually forget that. I made a little mistake. I'm going to click on style, and I'm going to upload a background. This is the waterfall. So it's just to show you that you're right now in the waterfall. And so now we're doing another layer of complexity. And a couple of things you might have noticed here, the flag. This flag, if you click on the parameters, you see that this is the start page. If I want, I could start with the waterfall if I want. If I click on start page, you see that the little flag is now appearing on waterfall. Now what that means is that if I would go in my preview publish tab and start my branching scenario, well, now you see that it starts with the waterfall. So I'm going to go put this back in the world on the world map. Now here you can also see that you can erase your branching or see which one goes which. So Panama, you see that it's highlighted, it's bigger, so you can see your connection more clearly here. And if you don't need one, you can erase it very quickly. You also have access to a thermometer. If you click on show thermometer, this is really good because you can actually show the learner how well he's doing or how bad he's doing. You can kind of like add additional functionalities with the behavior. It starts at average, so let's leave it at average. And then just a quick idea, you could say, well, I really want people to go to Thailand. So if I click on the Thailand page and I put the thermometer, I could say, if you click here, you could say, well, this is really good. So this is better. And if you end up with the waterfall, again, show thermometer, and this is excellent. And then you could say, well, I don't want to go, don't want the learner to end up in Panama. So show thermometer, and if should they go there, it's bad. And I really don't want them, for example, to be in a city setting. So if they end up in a city setting, it's very bad. So New York will have that one. So lastly, what we would have to do is just add, again, a button to go to the actual waterfall. So we're almost done. Bear with us here. So here on our click button to go back, I'll just copy this one and I'll paste it really quickly. I'll put it here, and instead I'll write click here to visit waterfalls. There you go. Now we're going to put the behavior of this button. So in the action tab, go to a branched page. Since I copied, it's already like this. But now instead of going back to the world map, we're actually going to go to the waterfall. Click on save. And I think this is it. Oh yeah, one last thing. You see the thermometer appearing. We're going to put it on the top right. You can resize it if you want, make it a little bit bigger, and you see that it's got the state which I wanted it to have earlier. Now, if I go back in my branching scenario, the thermometer will be at the same place for every page. So when you move it somewhere, it's going to move everywhere. And you see now that it's saying very bad because I ended up in the location not that I should not be going to. And so this is pretty much it for the branching. So let's see, let's go in our final preview, see what it looks like. I'm actually going to click and preview a new window to really have an idea of what it looks like as a final product. So I'm gonna collapse the bar and we're gonna start our experience. So clicking on the play button, you see our thermometer. We start at average and we are given a choice, click of a kind of destination for a sneak peek. We're given 3 choices here. I'm gonna start with Panama. And it says, no, bad, that is not the place you should be going right now. And so fair enough. So click here to go to another venture. We're going back to the beginning. Now I could have, by the way, I could have put autoplay so that you don't have to click on the play button all the time. This is just a settings that I forgot to add. And if I click on Thailand, you see that, oh, this is the good place that I had to go. So you have your feedback here, and I'm now moving to the Thailand page. And here, this is different. Not only can I go back, but now I can click to visit the waterfalls. And if I click on that button, you see that I'm actually ending up in the waterfall. And if I would have clicked to go back, I would have ended up in the branching page again. So this is it for the branching scenario. This video was a bit longer, but as you can see, still in a very short amount of time, you can create very complex branching scenarios, and you can do pretty much anything you want. You can set your buttons any way you want. This is a very, very powerful feature. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and if you have any questions, don't forget to go to www.quantic.com for more information. Have a nice day.